Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. We have a full package today. A memorable visit to the Dallas Public Library, a book tour stop for the 2019 Nigeria Prize for Literature winner, and a conference for publishers in Nigeria. 3 events, 1 show. Please stay with us and let's have a good time. So, how much does a society value education? How important is learning to the society? And how determined is a society to promote literacy? To come close to finding the right answers for these questions, one effective way is to observe how a society has set up and runs its public libraries. By the way, a public library is a library that is accessible by the general public and is usually funded from public sources. We visited the central building of the Dallas Public Library recently. It was part of the tours planned for the winners of the 2019 Channels Book Club Prize for Literature. Now, this is not to deride any efforts that have been made in Lagos State or Nigeria by some to improve library services. But here is a comparison to perhaps get us thinking and hopefully inspire us to step up our game. Dallas has a population of about 1.3 million people. Lagos has a population of about 20 million people. Dallas has 29 public libraries. That is one library for about 44,827 people. Lagos, on the other hand, has 12 public libraries. That is one library for about 1.7 million people. And how about this? The budget for the Dallas Public Library this year is about $34 million. That is about 12.3 billion naira. The budget for the Lagos Public Libraries hovers between 180 million and 190 million naira. So the budget of Dallas Public Library, which serves a population of 1.3 million people, is 65 times more than that of Lagos Public Libraries, which serves about 20 million people. So is it a case of financial constraints or lack of value or both? Join us to experience a bit of what we experienced at the Dallas Public Library. The Dallas Public Library's main building is spectacular. 8 floors housing millions of volumes of books and items of education, history, and entertainment.
We change out the display pretty frequently.
The library is managed by a warm and professional team.
I'm Jeff. Tutu, nice to meet you. Adora, nice to meet you. Sorry, my hands are cold. Hi. Uzona, I'm Joe. Nice to meet you.
Special events, and any of the meeting spaces, as well as outreach, like what we're doing, connecting with partners and bringing them to the library. That's my job. Yeah.
The first floor is significant. It was where the story of this central library facility built in 1982 began. The library is spacious. It was designed to appeal and be functional.
Per year served population, and those vary. In general, the answer to all of those in terms of what is the biggest library in the United States is the Library of Congress.
In this library, history is paramount, and one of the most important items preserved is a copy of Shakespeare's First Folio. After William Shakespeare died in 1616, 2 of his friends decided to publish his works in a book. The book was called First Folio, and it was completed in 1623.
Shakespeare was writing for a popular audience in production at the time he was writing, right? He worked with a small company of actors, and his plays were basically done, and then they were gone. Right? They didn't get preserved until after his death, when a group of his friends and actors got together and tried to reconstruct them from the scripts they'd used during performances and things they remembered, and that got produced into the First Folio. Folio refers to the size of the item, right? It's the type of book it is, and it's the first folio of Shakespeare's plays. Let's get out of the way of the school tour, and we'll go over and I'll show you one of the other floors.
Another important historical document is the Declaration of Independence. About 200 copies of the Declaration were printed in July 4th, 1776. Of the 26 known to exist today, one is in the Dallas Public Library. It was obtained by a number of individuals for $500,000 and given to the city of Dallas.
And that's a really important document, not just for American history, but for world history, right? A lot of ex-colonial powers, as they shrugged off the yokes of colonialism, modeled their declarations of independence on the U.S. Declaration of Independence.
That was John Hancock, right?
So John Hancock was the president of the group of guys who got together and wrote it, right? Like, he was the person in charge of the committee and the first person to sign it. It was mostly written by a couple of other guys in that group. Alexander Hamilton, I think, wrote a lot of it, as did Thomas Jefferson.
A common occurrence in the Dallas Public Library is visitations by students from various schools. A brilliant way to take education beyond the four walls of a school.
The text itself between the data and Congress, that's all available online. That's a huge set of data, so it can sometimes take a guide to go through it. All the time. On a daily basis, we're going to have local high school students, local elementary and middle school students. One of the things we'll show as we go through is our children's floor, which is reserved for kids and parents. And then we also have professional academics and researchers and college students coming in to do research using some of the materials you can't get anywhere else, or just using support. One of the things that the sixth floor does is we're experts on using U.S. government data sources, right? So all of the government databases that are out there, if you need information on that, we're having trouble finding
Connected here.
Yeah.
A floor is dedicated to children with the appropriate books and materials that guarantee a good time to visiting children. The library is not just about books, it's also about art.
Hi everyone, so this is our Fiber Arts workroom. As you can see, we have sewing machines, we have patterns, fabric, and working tables. We've only opened about a month ago, so we're hoping to gain more equipment in the future and have classes for the community, like sewing classes, embroidery classes, weaving classes, dyeing, all kinds of fiber arts, fabrics, that sort of thing. So that's what we have planned.
So basically it's a place where you develop skills and then display creative works, basically?
Yes. It can be creative works, but we're also planning on hopefully partnering with some outside organizations, for example, like helping people prepare for interview.
Framed sketches tell the story of Dallas in a room.
These are sketches of Dallas from the early part of the 20th century, right? So this is a university building at Southern Methodist University, but all of these are around Dallas, and they're a part of Dallas that you can't see anymore. Some of these buildings aren't there anymore. Some of them have changed in context, right? Like if you were standing here at SMU, there'd be 5 more buildings that you can see because the campus has built up so much. This building also right down the street, this is the old City of Dallas Municipal Building, which got turned into one of our major courthouses and then now is a law school, right? So the building's still there, but it's changed use a couple times. So we're really happy to have gotten this. We think it's a really cool collection.
Great.
I'm going to show you now our reading room. Yeah, absolutely. So all of this over here, these are Blu-rays, DVDs. You can check these out.
Whoa.
Take them home.
The library's collection of DVD movies and documentaries is impressive.
I didn't mean to get in your lineup.
A center helps library visitors to preserve their stories. Storytelling center.
So it used to be a writer's room, but we've actually revamped the technology to support some different types of activity that aren't just sort of writing on paper, but have the same sort of thing. So this is again one of those, pardon us, we're just going to sneak our heads in. One of our public, so we've got a podcasting studio where people can record radio type programming. We've got a green screen for people doing video work. The computer they're working on over there is equipped with video and audio editing software that's available for public use. At this point, our classes are the highest quality classes in the city of Dallas. We have the most test takers, the most completers, the people who have the highest average score on the GED test. And a couple times a year we get to have a graduation ceremony where everybody completed their GED through us can come in with, sort of the traditional American cap and gown and get a certificate.
And we had a good chat with the director of library services.
So we are a department of the City of Dallas. So we work for the city manager, is our boss. And so there are 29 locations, including this building, but this building has 8 public floors. So it's really 29 plus 8 because each floor is its own subject specialty and has a manager for each floor. So then we have around 435 staff right now, and we're open 7 days a week. We have more hours in service than we've ever had historically in the Dallas Public Library that we're very proud of, because we can't help anybody if we're not open. So we fought hard for that. We have just over 3 million items in our collection that circulate. Last year we had over 11 million items checked out, so people borrowed over 11 million items. We have really not as many card holders, library card holders, as I would like. I would love everyone. So the city of Dallas has 1.3 million people in it, and not even half of those residents have library cards, and so that's something we're working on.
So like there are lots of disadvantaged communities in Dallas from what I've been hearing, and like what else are you doing for them outside of just training them and outside of just giving them opportunities? Are there like other things you do for them?
Yeah, so probably the first thing that we do is make sure that we are in those neighborhoods, right? Mm-hmm. So having our buildings there and having them open and having a place where they can come and be safe, that's number one. We get a lot of kids after school. We actually do lunch during the summertime, because in Dallas, we give free lunch at all of our schools. So during the summer, kids are not in school. Where are they going to eat? So the library has stepped in, and we're providing lunch during the summer months when the kids are not in school. So we also found out that, a lot of times that you eat lunch at 11 o'clock in the morning or something really early when you're in school. The kids get out of school, they come to the library, and they're hungry. So we're doing an after-school super snack. So it's almost like lunch again. But so we're providing meals, because you can't learn if you're hungry, right? That's and then so we stack it with, you come in, you can eat, and anybody can come in who's under 18, so it's for kids, and eat. We don't, no application, no paperwork or anything. You just come in, tell us you're hungry, you get the meal. Wow. We also do a program around it. So we'll usually have some kind of arts program. We bring in junior players, which is a theatrical group, and they do some acting and improv. And so fun things. I like after school, because kids are in school and they're usually, studiously sitting quietly learning. So after school, doing something active, because you're ready to move, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been director for 6 years. How has it been for you?
It's hard. Well, I've been with the city of Dallas as a librarian for 16 years. So I kind of worked my way up. I started out as a children's librarian and a branch manager, and really all I really want to do is read to kids. So I had no idea that I would end up running this major library. It wasn't my goal. I'm glad I'm doing it, but it's a lot of hard work. Yeah. Keeps me on my toes. Sure. But luckily I get to meet wonderful people like you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's one of the benefits.
So a lot of the programs you run are free to better the community. Are you fully funded by the government, or do you receive monetary donations?
That's a great question, because we are not fully funded by the government. So I like to say, and this simplifies it a little bit, that the city pays for books, bodies, and buildings. So they pay for our facilities, they pay for the materials in our facilities, and they pay for the staff, right? Anything else we do beyond that, like the music lessons, and we have to buy the instruments, we have to write grants or apply for sponsorship or get corporations to donate. So we have a group called the Friends of the Library, and they're a nonprofit organization, and they accept donations for us. So we heavily rely on the community and corporations to be generous and help us do all this. So that's how I spend a lot of my time, calling people up and saying, I need your help. I need your help. Can you give me some money? And you have to, and when you think about librarians, you think, oh, you just sit around and read all day. No!